dive into authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us, from personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.
At the now closed Intercontinental Hotel has been shared with the public. So the last few days, we've been covering almost every.
So this is an AI generated picture of Diddy. No one actually really knows what Diddy really looks like right now. Everybody's speculating he's all white, gray hair. Okay. Looking sad. However, he's in jail, right? So he's not getting the royal treatment anymore.
Single detail of the Sean Diddy Combs federal trial, where he's being charged with all kinds of things, including trafficking, racketeering, a lot. Yesterday, we talked about the first time that Cassie has taken the stand, and today she's back on the stand and detailing more of their toxic and controlling relationship that included drugs, S-workers, and more. So I mentioned to you that 15 full minutes. So you may recall it was last year that CNN got their hands on video footage of Sean Diddy Combs harming, dragging, punching, throwing things at Cassie Ventura at the now closed Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. Now TMZ has gotten their hands on the full 15 minutes. We only had a few minutes in the CNN version. This is the full 15 minutes. I'm not going to share it here because even the clip from last year was just terrible. And this is why I find it so interesting that people continuously are still defending Diddy. And as I said in multiple videos, I'm going to say it again in this video, we understand the difference of the defense has their job to do. The prosecution's job is to prove that Diddy did what he's being charged for. However, the defense is not defending against domestic violence, which Diddy has admitted to after that video came out last year. Everyone is hearing the toxic domestic violent relationship that Cassie and Diddy were in. So let me go through, and shout out to our friends over at NBC News today. We'll be utilizing their breakdown of some of the testimony from Cassie earlier today, but also shout out to the content creators, the bloggers, the journalists that are covering this case as well. Yesterday, I did do a short form video mentioning one of the CBS news correspondents that's inside the room mentioned some of the things that she observed in regards to facial reactions. And also one of the things that we didn't mention in our last video was the fact that Cassie brought up some of the abuse allegations, but she also brought up some celebrity names, including Dallas Austin, who she considered a really good friend. They also showed images of people like Kanye West to the jury, which has led people to wonder whether or not they are going to have a celebrity testify. We're going to continue because the fact that Cassie is testifying so early on.
Join Planet Fitness today and save $28.
A lot of legal experts are saying, well, if she's their star witness, that says to the audience that more than likely they have a lot more. The prosecution has a lot more in store for this trial. All right, so let's break down some of this, and I will share some other things that I've been doing some research on and getting information on. But first, let's go through what NBC News is reporting. They already updated us in regards, and this was 7 hours ago at the time of this recording. Cassie testified of abuse and humiliation from the freak offs from yesterday. They're talking about day 2. Okay, we're not going to go through that. They say Cassie is to resume testifying this morning, which she will. Sidebar, I do also want to remind those of you that are watching or listening to the podcast version of this, before you comment, listen to the entire video. Because some of you are saying things in the comment section, one or two of you are saying things in the comment section where it is addressed in the video. So listen to the full video, not just a title or a clip, and then make an assessment that says, don't spread misinformation. How about you actually listen to the entire video? Because you're spreading misinformation. So they say Cassie is to resume testifying. They remind us of that. They remind us of some of the things that Cassie said yesterday, including her saying that I didn't want him to be upset or not trust me. She had told the court in regards to her relationship when it comes to Diddy. And again, we need to have a conversation on the cycle of abuse, because some people probably don't even understand. How could you love someone that has been harming you this way? This is not the forum right now to educate people on cycles of abuse and how that works. But please understand, plenty of people that have been in abusive relationships almost revere their abusers because of the emotional and psychological manipulation, the abuse, and the grooming. They talk about what happened yesterday. So they also let us know that Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie have entered the court. This is this morning. They said Combs, Cassie Ventura, and the jury have entered the courtroom to begin today's proceedings. Combs is wearing a gray sweater over a white shirt. Cassie is wearing a light gray dress with a jacket with wide lapels. For the second day in a row, she walked into the courtroom without looking towards Combs at the defense table. And I said to you before, Cassie's 8 months pregnant, and she's reliving trauma. My kudos to her. So the prosecution accuses Combs' lawyers of trial by ambush in a heated exchange this morning. So there are certain things before testimony happens. There's certain logistics and administrative things that have to happen in court. So they say before Cassie Ventura retook the witness stand, prosecutors and the defense lawyers clashed over how much notice each side deserves about upcoming trial strategy. The assistant U.S. attorney, Maureen Comey, was noticeably angry as she lashed out at defense for allegedly not turning over exhibits it was planning to use to question Ventura. We don't want a trial by ambush, is a quote. But defense attorney Mark Agnafilo insisted his side doesn't need to tip its hand about how it will cross-examine prosecution's witnesses. In a quote, they have the burden of proof. We don't have to give the government what we are going to use so they can prepare their witness. U.S. District Court Judge Aaron Subramanian denied the government's request that the defense turn over what it expects to use for Ventura's cross. They say Cassie describes how Combs has lost control during a 2016 meltdown in Los Angeles hotel hallway, hurling a vase that just missed her. In a quote, she says, I don't remember exactly his words, she told the court. I'm sure he was calling me something other than my name. So the 15-minute video, which you can see on TMZ's website, there is no audio. All you see is just a very angry Diddy. And if you watch the full 15 minutes, you know how they've tried to paint it as if Cassie hit him too. You don't see that in the 15-minute video. If anything, you see her squirming, you see her ducking, you see her running away and trying to get away. Security was eventually called, but Combs allegedly made himself clear that Ventura wasn't free to leave on her own accord. The defendant told Ventura that I wasn't going to leave him, that I couldn't, according to Ventura. Combs apparently banged and kicked a door at Cassie's apartment after the hotel incident. Combs pounded on Cassie Ventura's apartment door, demanding to see his then-girlfriend after assaulting her at the Los Angeles hotel in 2016, the witness said. Cassie. Ventura still isn't sure how Combs got to the 17th floor of her Westwood apartment building, calling the scene chaos outside the door, banging, kicking, yelling, and banging. He didn't get inside. She also talked about how she told her friend at the time about this. I think the friend's name is Carrie Morgan. about this, and she had seen her friend right after that, and it was her friend who had called the police. But when she spoke to the police, she didn't identify who the person that did this to her was. The court is now looking at text messages and photos shortly after the hotel attack took place. Cassie Ventura said that she had to attend the premiere of her movie, The Perfect Match, with bruises on her face and body. Literally watched a Good Day New York clip of her promoting The Perfect Match with Terrence J and Lauren London. And watching it now, and when they bring up Diddy and her facial reaction about it, it didn't give one of, oh, I love this person, I'm so in love with him. It gave.
And do y'all see how just, it goes around and around in Hollywood, just like it does out here in these real regular streets, right? Cassie was fucking around with Diddy. Whenever Cassie and Diddy weren't, Lauren London jumped on the team with Diddy. Didn't Lauren London come up in the trial saying that whenever Cassie thought that they were off or however have you, Lauren London got on with Diddy? Lauren London was in the movie Perfect Match, Terrence J and Cassie. See how it just goes around and around? And then you wonder why you got mouth sores and the STI, UTIs, and it's just going around. Bacteria. Oh, y'all nasty. Nasty.
I have to make it seem that way.
Meet Nat.
Okay. While Kempire's paying bills, we want to thank Kempire. There, make sure y'all subscribe. He is the king of pop culture on YouTube streets, and we're gonna sip some tea from him. I love the way he commentates, and so he gives it up, straight up, no chaser. Okay, love it. We're listening to Kempire narrate the Diddy trial.
I think back then we kind of viewed Cassie sort of like, oh, she's quiet, she's soft-spoken, so that's probably why she's awkward in interviews and things like that. No, there was definitely something more going on. They say Cassie Ventura said that she had to attend the premiere of her movie, The Perfect Match, with bruises on her face and body. She said that she thought at the time that Combs was, quote, sick to think that it was okay to do that to her and wanted him to stay away. The court was also shown a photo of Ventura and Combs smiling at the premiere. She said that she had to change her outfit to cover up her bruises on her legs and needed to apply a lot of makeup to cover her black eye and fat lip. So I know a lot of people are going back and looking at those photos this week just to see what you can see. Cassie says that the freak-offs were fueled by ketamine. And if you followed our coverage of her lawsuit, and this is why a lot of this information sounds familiar to me and probably to you, because she talked about this in the lawsuit that was settled less than 24 hours later with Sean Diddy Combs. So she says ketamine was the drug of choice for Combs and Cassie Ventura during their orgies with S-workers, she told the court. Sidebar, I had this thought this morning in regards to Diddy. Anyone remember on Making with the Band where he claimed to not drink or do drugs or smoke or do any of those things? And that always stood out to me. I was like, it made me look at him a little differently back then, only for us to find out that was a complete farce. He was doing all the drugs and all the alcohol. Ketamine, Sean had it. It took time out of the freak off, said Ventura, testifying about having sex with other men at Combs' direction as he watched. That was my preferred drug because it was the most disassociative. The prosecution showed Ventura a dozen of photos of S-workers. Inner City Press on Twitter, fantastic account if you want literally I don't want to call it the transcript because I don't know if it's verbatim, but he's letting you know they asked this question, Cassie said this. So I'm just summarizing in this video. I'm not giving you all of the details because we would be here for hours. So she says, ketamine, Sean had it. It took time out of the freak off, said Ventura, testifying about the sex with the other men at Combs' direction. So the prosecution showed Ventura a dozen photos of S-workers hired for these freak offs. Ventura remembered many, but not all of the names, such as Ash, Islander, and she would also name, well, that person was in New York, or that person was in Miami, that person was in Los Angeles. You have to keep in mind, the locations are important because he's also being accused of transporting these individuals for freak-offs, which is part of the big conversation on the charges that he's facing. The prosecution showed Ventura a dozen photos of S-workers hired for these freak-offs. Ventura remembered many, but not all of the names. I mean, she's better than me. Like, how do you remember these names? Such as Ash, Islander, Skylar, and Jake from the website Cowboys for Angels. That's probably not even their real names. She said in a quote, "Don't remember his name. He looks familiar from Freak Offs," she said of one of the pictures. Cassie says that Combs blackmailed her with these videos of the Freak Offs. Cassie Ventura said that when Combs was upset with her, he would frequently remind her that he had videos of her having sex at his Freak Offs. She said that Combs brought up the videos on the night of her birthday when she refused to leave her friends to go with Combs to a freak off. I wonder what, and maybe we'll find out in this case, what exactly stopped the relationship. Because I remember talking about this in the lawsuit, but what made him stop bothering her and letting her go, basically. In a quote, she says, "It is horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone," she said of the alleged blackmail. "It could ruin everything I worked for. Make me look like a, quote, slut. I wasn't supposed to be on those videos," she says. "I didn't want to be in them." In regards to everyone that's attending, NBC News reports that King Combs, Christian Combs, son of Sean Combs, held an umbrella for his grandmother, Janice Combs, mother of Sean Combs, as they arrived at court in the rain today. It's a very rainy day here in New York City. So shout out to those of you that are reporting from outside of this courthouse. Cassie Ventura recalled the panic she felt after first learning that video of her having sex with another man at Combs' direction might have leaked. The former girlfriend was hosting an event in Atlantic City when someone I was working with said that they saw an sexually explicit video of me, so I reached out to Sean, Ventura told jurors. "I need you to call me ASAP," according to a text message she sent to Combs on March 9th, 2014. Ventura said that any leaked footage, quote, "would put my career in jeopardy and cause great embarrassment to my mother and my family." So can you even imagine her recalling this in court? And every news outlet is reporting and talking about this. Cassie Ventura said that after a freak off, she would go back to Combs' place where they would have massages to take care of themselves. "I had an addiction to opiates, so I would take pills to calm down," she told the courtroom. "I wanted to feel numb and not know what was going on in my mind."
Are listening to very much, words that came right out of Cassie's mouth during testimony. You know what I'm saying? That's the tea. Told you guys I would find it. Here it is. It's been read aloud to us by Mr. Kim Pyre.
The drugs from a drug dealer who sometimes did the drugs with her beginning in 2007. When asked how she felt after a freak off, Ventura said, "I felt so tired, achy, dehydrated, not really eating too much. Emotionally, I felt empty, gross, like I did a job." And some of these freak offs would last 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours. The longest freak off she remembers was 4 days. They continued, says Cassie says that the freak offs gave her UTIs, mouth sores, and stomach problems.
Disgusting.
When I lay out to you how long these would last, and mind you, this is not harming Diddy. Diddy's just watching. Cassie Ventura said that the freak offs would sometimes cause her to have urinary tract infections, mouth sores, and gastrointestinal issues. In a quote, she says, "When we were having frequent freak offs, they were back to back. And sometimes I would do a freak off with the infection," she said. "I tried to flush it out with water. I got to the point where Cipro, an antibiotic, didn't work anymore. It was a mess." And any medical professional will tell you the constant use of antibiotics, it will become ineffective. She said that she would also get mouth sores due to repeated oral sex with a lubricant. "It was really painful for a long time," she added. "I can't believe I actually dealt with that." The fact that she's holding it together, again, 8 months pregnant, everything that she's gone through, reliving this, your abuser is, I'm painting the picture for you guys, for those that still do not understand the amount of strength it takes for a victim to go on the stand, confront their abuser. Combs told his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, that having multiple sex partners was, quote, a lifestyle and a, quote, turn on for the rapper. "What he told me is we could swap partners, a certain lifestyle, and that was a turn on for him," Ventura said after a prosecutor asked if she was a swinger with Combs. This, quote, lifestyle included sex clubs visits, which Ventura said that she didn't enjoy. When she didn't want to go, Combs still pressed the issue, the witness said. Some of the time, he would try to turn the energy around and keep it positive, become playful and funny and not scary, Ventura said. He would push and try and convince me. When the prosecution asked why she drank so much at these sex clubs, Ventura responded, because I didn't want to be sober. Cassie Ventura testified that sometimes that she would be afraid during the freak-off parties, which often turned violent. Sean would put his hands on me. He would push me down, kick me, she told the court. There were other times if we were having a bad time or if I was scared of him, uncomfortable, typically I would leave and go out the back of the hotel. When asked by prosecutors how often Combs would injure her during a freak-off, she replied, too often. In continuation, Cassie says that she felt mortified and trapped when she spotted Combs watching videos of her having sex as they flew on a commercial jet, she testified. Commercial jet meaning that there are other everyday people on the flight. They had been arguing during a 2013 trip to Cannes, and the flight home took an embarrassing turn, Ventura said. He pulled up a freak-off video on his laptop that I thought were deleted, Ventura testified. He was showing them with other people around. I said, you are embarrassing me. I was scared. I felt trapped. How do you get out of this situation? I felt trapped. Again, for the people that keep saying, why didn't she leave? Why didn't she leave? She said that she arranged a freak off within hours of their landing so that he wouldn't get angry. If she didn't, she testified he said the videos would be released. Cassie recalls gashing her face while fighting off Combs. NBC reports, they said that Cassie Ventura recalled a time when Combs attacked her and gashed her face in 2013. Then forced her to go to a plastic surgeon to treat the wound. Again, if you read her lawsuit, this was in there as well. Sean came in, I was asleep, he was trying to attack me. We went into the master bedroom, my friends were jumping on his back trying to stop him. And I wonder if they will testify, or at least one or two of the friends. I cut my eyebrow on the corner of the bed. Sean threw me onto the bed frame. I had a significant gash. I didn't go to the ER. It was a Sunday. Sean had security take me to a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. After the incident, she said that she texted Combs a photo of the injury, writing, so you can remember. And now I wonder if she will have or if the prosecution will have the surgeon testify. Of course, they're going to testify whatever Cassie told them, but they will confirm this is what we treated.
The best way to attract high-ticket coaching clients is not to spend all your time and money on social media content creation and trying to go viral on TikTok. I want to show you how, with just one Zoom call a week, I not only built a $50K a month coaching business, more than I ever made when I was grinding 12 hours a day, but also got my time back.
You don't know when to stop. You have pushed it too far, Combs replied. Just say sorry. I don't know why I deserve that. You could care less if I was okay, Cassie responded. Prosecutors presented text message exchange in which Cassie Ventura described how badly Combs allegedly abused her. You treat me like Ike Turner, Ventura wrote to Combs, a reference to the volatile marriage the late musician was known to have had with his ex-wife, the late Tina Turner. He was abusive and controlling. He was physically abusive. He put me down a lot, as much as I would be built up, the sheer embarrassment, how he treated me in front of other people, Ventura testified of Combs. Remember in Dawn Richard, formerly of Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money, alleged that she witnessed Sean Diddy Combs punch Cassie in the stomach. U.S. District Judge Aaron Subramanian sent jurors off to lunch. We're going to skip through that. And they said that Cassie was not done. She was going to be testifying some more. So we're going to do that. But I'll remind you guys, this was just announced. The Empire After Dark live show, The Villain Era, is returning, of course, to New York City on Friday, September 12th. But before that, we have Atlanta, City Winery Atlanta. We have that on August 5th. That was just announced as well. Tickets for that show will go on sale for touring and things like that, as a turtleneck dress and a black coat in court. The security video of Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura at a hotel in 2016 is played as she testified in court today. And as I mentioned to you guys before, Cassie, the 15-minute video, the full 15 minutes of what's caught on the security camera was revealed to the public today. They do show a photo, as I said to you before, it's a rainy day here in New York City, and they posted a photo of people on the sidewalk in tents. Tents suggest that some people spent the night in line today to enter federal court for Combs' trafficking trial. On Monday, at least 20 fans of Combs camped out overnight ahead of the court's doors opening. Yeah, that's not going to be me, but we appreciate those that do, I guess. So each juror has their own screen to view the sensitive images. So post-lunch proceedings were delayed at court, put finishing touches on the installing of personal video screens for each juror, so sensitive video and still images are shielded from public view. So the press and the family and friends will not be able to see probably these still images of some of these freak-off videos and things like that. Ventura identified herself and others engaged in various sex acts as the jury paid very close attention. The courtroom was silent. One female juror nodded as Ventura identified people, and one male panelist took written notes. That's Ventura said of an image, adding that she had baby oil applied to her with candle and lubricant on a nearby table. Okay, so let's continue in regards to what happened today in day 3 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial, where Cassie Ventura is testifying. A lot more information came out. All right, and I also want to read to you one of the exhibits that was shared from the, I believe it's the incident report or letter that was sent or email that was sent when it comes to that 2016 hotel incident. For those that may be new here and maybe you're finding me in regards to this trial, we have to change our verbiage when it comes to what we discuss, especially with what is being discussed in this trial. There was an issue I already went through in regards to them getting set up. There was a delay post-lunch in regards to setting up the screens individually for the jurors. So Cassie describes the alleged beating that happened inside a car. Again, if you didn't read Cassie's lawsuit from, my gosh, it wasn't last year, it was the year before, and then you're not familiar with some of these incidents. I did. So a lot of this for me is like, oh, she mentioned this in her lawsuit. She does talk about the lawsuit. So apparently she ended up getting $20 million and not 30. So that's the juiciness about
100, right? She might have gotten 50 and then the lawyers took 30. She kept 20.
And this case is that some of what we've heard, the rumors of what we heard, are now being confirmed or corrected. However, the 30 million that came out really was initially revealed by Diddy's attorneys. They were the ones who revealed, oh, she was asking for 30 million. And then they settled the lawsuit 24 hours after she filed it, because she was threatening, I'm going to file a lawsuit. I'm also writing a book. Diddy's attorneys at the time that were handling the civil case revealed that. And now, shout out to Inner City Press. If you're not following him on Twitter, you should. I saw the transcript, for lack of a better word. He's transcribing what he's hearing in the court.
You want to know what I'm most excited about this summer? No more.
TikTokers, we're up. Last day, first week of the Diddy trial. I'm updating TikTok with everything right now. Make sure y'all subscribe. I am Tanisha Talks Teas on all social media platforms. Okay. We're listening to King Empire right now, okay? He's a king of pop culture, and he's giving us a lot of the raw inside details about what was said on the stand as Cassie continued to unfold at 8.5 months pregnant by her now current husband, Mr. Fine. Okay, let's go. Oh, and when you come in and fill your teacup up, remember to like and subscribe.
Offered, she was actually given $20 million. Ventura recalled a violent outburst by Combs that she said happened early in their relationship that left her, quote, shocked and angry. Ventura said that she had spotted Combs flirting in a restaurant with another woman. And when they got back to the car, the rapper, quote, knocked me around in an outburst that allegedly happened in either 2007 or 2008. He hit me on the side of my head And for those that are wondering, like, why don't you remember what year it was? First of all, I can barely remember certain things that have happened a few months ago. However, when you're in a cycle of abuse, she's not remembering the year that happened. So they said it happened either in 2007 or 2008. She said, he hit me on the side of my head and I fell to the floor of the Escalade, Ventura said. He shook me up and scared me a little bit. So I got out of the car. I was shocked. I didn't understand what happened and why he was so angry. She added, I knew his capabilities, his access to GUNs, and threats he made. Cassie recalled another incident in which she alleged Combs beat her, saying he got angry with her after she was at a party at Prince's house, the late Prince. Ventura went to the basement believing that the late artist was going to play music, she told the court. I caught a glimpse of him, Combs, so I ran out as fast as I could because I thought he was angry, Ventura recalled. I knew he was angry, his facial expression, he came after me. Later, at a Los Angeles hotel room where she was staying, she said Combs beat me up and threw luggage at me. I had bruising on my face and knots on my head. There were also allegations in regards to, you may recall video footage of her in Dubai, and she was hiding under a sheet at one particular point where they were saying that something also happened there. Like when you go back and you look at photos and you look at different videos and posts and things like that, the signs were really there in our face. Cassie Ventura told the jury that she went to see her mother in Connecticut after allegedly being physically beaten by Combs. Ventura said that she raised her shirt, allowing her mother to take photos of bruises to her lower back and butt, along with wounds on her right thigh. Anyone that's been in a domestic violence situation, yes, the person that's the victim is truly not the only victim. There are the friends and the family that are trying to get that person out of it, and because they're concerned that this person won't get out of it, they will end up not with us. They also are traumatized and also scared. She says, I believe I told her this was the time and didn't tell her about the freak-offs, Ventura said in court, adding that she felt that she couldn't justify it to anyone, especially my mom. NBC News reports, they said Cassie Ventura said in 2011, while she was at home in Connecticut during the holiday season, she called off her relationship with Scott Mescudi, otherwise known as the rapper Kid Cudi, after Combs threatened them both. I had broken off the relationship with Scott Mescudi. There was too much uncertainty if we continued to see each other, she said, adding that there was danger, and Sean said that he was going to hurt the both of us. At one point, she said Combs told her that when she was out of the country, Scott's car would be blown up, which apparently
Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay dipping.